Hello, my name is Stephanie. I'm the social worker. I don't think you had a chance to meet me last time, but I just wanted to, reiterate the fact that I'm really glad you came in to talk to us. And everything that's said here is going to be confidential unless, you reveal plans to harm yourself or others. From our initial session, you mentioned a little bit that there is some conflict right now in your relationship, and that you were kind of facing some problems with that. Did you want to kind of go a little bit more into detail about that?
Sure. Just recently, I've been experiencing more emotional discomfort in my own home. My boyfriend currently, he's been asking more of me to do, and he expects me to work more. He doesn't really want me to spend time with my family as much.
Is this something that you've mentioned to him, or have y'all had a conversation regarding, how it's making you feel?
Not really, just because he does have a temper sometimes. He's never hit me, but I feel like I'm walking on eggshells sometimes, and I never know what his next move will be or how he will react to something.
Does he get mad often?
I think it depends when our finances are in a crunch. When because he does have seasonal work, so it's not like he's always working. It's more of when I guess he needs more money than we have at the moment, and I can only do so much with my hours and my work.
So besides work, what are some things that you do? Do you guys have any shared interests?
I tried to get him engaged to go with me to some family events in our community center for horticulture, but he doesn't have an interest really in going with me.
So does he have a problem with you attending those events, or does he just not want to be there?
He thinks it's a waste of time, and he doesn't see the value in it for me. He thinks I should be working more.
How do you feel about making that trade-off, that you work more, but you're not going to be able to attend those events?
I don't like it because I don't want to have to sacrifice something that's so important to me. I did actually ask for a raise at work, but unfortunately I didn't get it. And instead I was told that I was lucky I even had a job, and that kind of made me feel like there was an instability in my current work, and it just makes me scared to even ask for things in the future. I thought this would really help me have more financial security, and I'm scared to even bring it up with him at home because he did get mad at the fact that I even considered asking that, and I was told you're lucky you even have a job.
Are you concerned that you'll ever be unsafe if he ever gets that upset?
It's been in the back of my mind that this might get more out of hand, but he's never laid a hand on me, so I don't know. It's just his temper really gets out of hand, and that's when I am scared of him sometimes.
Right. Okay, well, I just wanted to let you know that, it was a really brave thing for you to come in here and tell me all that. It's certainly not an easy topic to talk about. Certainly not easy to talk about it with a stranger. But I really do appreciate, your openness and your honesty, and, I really think that in the next coming sessions, we'll really be able to kind of delve a little deeper into these situations and really set some goals and some strategies that are going to help protect you in your personal and your professional life.
Okay, thank you.
So for applying this case to the feminist standpoint theory and relational cultural theory, when we met, we discussed basically how our understanding is that feminist standpoint theory is more in relation to, or in this case, the social worker's perspective, and so that perspective would kind of for us, it's being very mindful of Kara's situation, and so being mindful in the types of questions that we're asking and in the way that we're approaching the situation, and every aspect. And what kind of worked with that too was also looking at the questions, the gender lens questions. And so it's kind of like a culmination of those two together. With relational cultural theory, what really stood out for me was when looking through it, and it mentions that all growth occurs in connection, and that people yearn for that connection, and growth fostering relationships are created through mutual empathy and mutual empowerment. Even for the social worker, this experience can be empowering and a learning experience for the social worker in this situation, but then also the mutual empowerment is gained because obviously the goal would be for Kara to be empowered and to create whatever change she feels necessary to help empower her in her situation. Everyone can feel empowered through the positive change or shift in change that's needed. And that's kind of how we discussed on how those two, the feminist standpoint theory and our relational cultural theory could be applied to this situation.
We were able to select about 4 questions from table 5.2 that would help us apply a gender lens to Kara's situation. The first question was, who has the power in the situation, and what are the economic drivers and motives involved? And this was an important question given that we believe that Kara has some power in her relationship. However, she needs to come to terms with it and also really understand the economic motives involved in her situation. We also believe, what would equality look like? Be a good question for Kara's situation to be presented. Can I negotiate a more advantageous arrangement for others for myself? We believe this is an important question given that these were some potential goals that we could see for her in the future. For her talking with her therapist/social worker, and also how can I advocate for others and myself? And this is such a good question because it can lead Kara to feel more empowered about her situation.
Table 5.3 highlights a lot of different avenues that could be taken to assist Kara during her predicament. But we really wanted to focus on the top 2 that we believe are the most needed for her. The first one is that we really would like to get Kara in touch with the women's shelter. She hasn't disclosed any physical abuse. It's quite obvious that something's going on. She doesn't feel entirely comfortable around her partner, and we believe that it would be significant for her to just know the women's shelter and know that resource is available for her in the community should she ever need emergency shelter or something that as the social worker we can't provide her, that the women's shelter that's really their area of expertise. It's important that she know that is there for her. The second one would be the employee assistance program. That is, her professional life currently is in a hostile environment. It's going to take a lot for her to be able to figure out what it is that she needs to do to get what she needs from her job. So that type of counseling and the assistance that they would be able to provide would prove to be super influential. It would probably make a big difference for her, knowing other people who have been through something similar, or kind of having that community support, just knowing that she's not alone, because it can feel super intimidating if you feel as if you don't have any rights. We would evaluate these change strategies by just making them like topic points during the appointments, really just relying on her own self-reflection, relying on how does Kara feel about visiting the women's center. Does she believe it's helping her? Because all we can really do is give her the avenues, but it really will be up to her to decide how she wants to utilize them. And if they're not helping her, if she doesn't feel empowered by, attending counseling, then obviously we would change a little bit the direction that we were taking.